It's about time I call out breaking points because I'm getting tired of consistently being pissed off and keeping my mouth shut because they are great at domestic politics. No one can deny that. But ever since we lost to Trump again, we seem to have forgotten that we should be on the same side. I don't know what this last segment on 600K per year Gen Z shock financial expectations video has anything to do with policy, with how people are living, how I don't know what this segment does besides look at those younger people, calling them, lazy or, over exaggerant or they want to live like a philanthropist. What are you doing? We lost. We should be trying to figure out how to get our messages across because talking through the internet like we are right now, it isn't working. We need to start actually going out there and getting our faces known because I genuinely want to know, you're from New York. Do people actually know you or does the White House know you? Does the news media know you? Do people when you go walk around, do people actually know you? Because being on the internet is not working. Clearly, we're not being listened to because Trump should not have won. Trump shouldn't have won. And you're attacking Gen Zers because you saw a poll that, again, polls are so inaccurate now, it doesn't matter. The polls don't matter. Again, that's on the internet. We actually have to go out there and actually do our own, I guess, polling, which is going around and house to house and asking people if they want to take a questionnaire or whatever. We actually need to go beyond the internet and get back to physical stuff because spouting this on the news on the internet isn't working. And this segment that you have spewed out, I'm only 3 minutes and 44 seconds in. And in fact, I'm going to play the 3 minutes and 44 seconds because this is just, we're acting like what boomers did to millennials, like pull yourselves up by your bootstrap, or you're so entitled kids. This does not represent all of Gen Z's. These polls are not only flawed, they misrepresent everybody's opinion. Because from what I can tell, from the ass kicking that we got, is that you actually don't know what the people want. Watching little clips, snippets, these polls, they don't represent the populace. You need to figure yourselves out. I'm about to call you out on several videos because there's different segments I need to explain on why you're not smart when it comes to certain parts of your organization. That's the best way I can put it. I don't. This video segment, the 600K per year Gen Z shock financial expectations.
It looked like by the numbers. Emily, we got a little Zoomer news for the public. This chart just caught my eye. I'm curious what you make of this. Let's put this up on the screen. They asked people, okay, how much money do you need to consider yourself financially successful? Okay, and this is what it looked like by the numbers. So overall, people say, okay, if I had $270,000 that I was making a year, I would consider myself financially successful. That's a lot of money. If you look at millennials, they say 180K. If you look at Gen X, they say 212. If you look at boomers, they say just under 100K. If you look at Gen Z, they say almost $600,000 a year is what they would need to be considered to consider themselves financially successful.
Why are we laughing? I don't even know where this came from. You didn't even explain where this poll came from. Is this your poll? Because then I would love to know how you did this. And I don't even know. On the other side, it says net worth. Overall, 5.3 million. I don't know what that means. Gen Z, 9.4 million. I don't know what that means. Millennials is apparently 5.63 million. Gen X 5.2, boomers 1. What does all this mean? What do you mean boomers are only $1 million? Are you saying they're the poorer generation even though they've been set up better? I don't understand. What do these numbers mean? The other side, the salary that they wish they could have. I mean, the only I don't know. I don't understand this segment. I don't know where this poll came from, if this is an internal poll for people who bought stuff, which, if your subscribers are doing this poll, you do not know what their age is because it's over the internet. Again, there's no face to their profile name, and you get a few bucks.
And the dynamic is similar when they think about net worth as well. Gen Z feels like they would need a net worth of almost $10 million to consider themselves financially successful. What do you make of this, Emily? Where do you think that this comes from?
I have no idea. I looked at the method.
I have no idea. You have no idea. But this is a way to make fun of Gen Zers? I don't understand this segment.
Methodology of the survey, and it was an online poll of people who were over the age of 18.
Where?
And so, I mean, I don't know if part of this is just Gen Z is younger and in a demographic where it's like hard to assess what
They don't really know.
What do you do? What? I don't even want to play anymore. Making fun of an entire age group is not the way to go. Especially since you're supposed to be older and wiser. What is this? What are you teaching? There's nothing to be gained here. If I was a Gen Zer, I would make fun of you. I wouldn't listen to you.
I would almost think that that would argue in the other direction, though, because I feel like until you start paying bills, you don't realize how.
Oh my god. Oh, no, 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 no. That did not just come up. Mm-mm. Let's play more.
Much everything costs and how expensive, how much money you need to make in order to like have a house and have healthcare and whatever. But
They don't know anything. Look, I had to look this up. Gen Zers, the age group is between 1997 and 2012. Most of them are already paying bills or working. What you're accessing to, it's like that scammer kid that recently got in controversy. Like, thank you for the 3 bandos. He does not represent the Gen Zers. He is an outlier asshole. I don't. Like, I'm trying to come up with a logic because that's how my brain works. I think logically. There's no logic to this segment. You're just making fun of younger kids, and younger kids aren't going to support you. You might be fine with that. You might have enough financial incentives with those who are listening to you, with I guess Your demographic must be just millennials and nothing else. I don't get it. This segment is stupid.
I don't know. I feel like it's like their favorite YouTubers, TikTokers, Instagram. The life that's depicted is very luxurious.
We've all lived through this. We I forget that guy's name from the Facebook, the meme where I love my Lamborghinis, but I appreciate my books more. He was a philanthropist, um, scammer, where he faked his wealth. I forgot his name. He's been recently popping up again. He does not represent us either. You should know this. But I guess you being in the upper echelons of society, being in the newsroom where you're surrounded by government officials all the time, you've forgotten what it's like to being on the ground. You live in your high tower and you forgot what it's like to be a normal person, is what it seems like. I'm only a minute 49 minutes in. 3 minutes 44 seconds. Come on.
So if that's considered like this is, living like, to use a really stereotypical example, but like living like Mr. Beast is like what it looks like to be financially successful, then yeah, you probably do need to make like $600,000 a year to be able to afford that level of like travel and the beautiful home that's always on display and the very curated life and the products that are being pitched to you on TikTok, etc.
Right, and that's where I still think maybe this is the best explanation is youth, and maybe the inverse way that you were talking about is they don't understand how much life costs, so they just like grossly overestimate what it's going to cost because they're told over and over again, rightfully, that the cost of living is going up, that it's increasingly harder to be successful in the United States. All of that is true. But I wonder if that like doomerism just made them totally overestimate, combined with like the luxury new standard of what it looks like to be quote unquote successful.
I don't know what doomerism has to do with anything. I really don't. The only thing I can think of is if they want to buy a bunker, a nuclear bunker. That'll cost like around 600K plus. But having 600K and being a doomerism, you're asking if I'm financially wealthy, I'm safe from a nuclear bomb. I don't even think nukes are designed to penetrate underground, so I don't know how much of a bunker is going to help you. But that's just me knowing a little bit more.
If you're inundated with TikTok influencers and Instagram influencers over and over again, instead of like this definition of success being like the 2 kids, white picket fence, sending them to college, whatever that most other generations were raised on, that's been shattered, like post 9/11. If you grew up post 9/11, that's just not what you consider financial success anymore. You're totally you're swimming in very different waters in influencer culture. So that's my best guess as to why it's such an outlier, but it's quite bizarre.
The gulf between millennials and Gen Z also very interesting there because millennials had some of the more modest, outside of boomers, they had the most modest.
And there it is. You're touting for a generation superiority, much like the boomers did. See, this is the one thing I've learned about humanity. We don't learn because it seems like we can't get the correct information out there. It's not that there's so much propaganda that it drowns out the factual information. It's we try to play their game by shortening facts, shortening the attention span, shortening the way you get information, with algorithms, only being pertained to the person. I've been able to control my algorithm. I get all kinds of news from different outlets. I've seen Times of India. I've seen UK, the Sky News. I'm watching Ukraine footage from a journalist that's actually on the fucking ground that you refuse to interview, but that's I'm going to get to that in a foreign segment. I get all kinds of news. I've been able to control my algorithm. Anything that's AI, I block. Anything that's I've seen several times already or I've been getting repeat, I block. I've been able to control my algorithm to where I see all sides. Piers Morgan is another one where I don't go in there to look for agreements. I look for there to see what's the conversation on each segment of the political spectrum and to see what the arguments are being said, what are the talking points of all sides, and I try to compare facts with independent journalists where if I look something up, I don't just scroll the first page and see a headline and say, there it is, there's my proof right there. I actually have to go into the article and read. I do what I can to inform myself. This right here, you are in a bubble and you need to pop it.
Expectations of like what financial success would look like, which I do think also makes sense for millennials, being the youngest like generation that is fully adult, right? Some Zoomers are adult, but some are not fully adult yet. But also, given that we came of age during the financial crisis, and that set back a lot of expectations for what was possible, and what was.
Yes, this is correct. And but they're about to deal with the same hardships. This hardship is going to continue to the next generation. Most of them are paying bills, and some of them were able to vote, but not all of them. Whatever this segment is dumb because this does not represent all of Gen Zs. We need to find a way to communicate better that is beyond the internet. The internet has made us lazy. It's made you lazy because you only get stuff from you only get your news segments from either Twitter or from the government that you supposedly are challenging. Constantly quoting New York Times or Washington Post, the main outlets that everybody fucking knows and hates. I guess that's my rant for this segment. You got at least three more coming talking about foreign affairs. Ukraine is its own segment, China is its own segment, and then maybe I'll do an overall summary. But you don't, you've gotten used to just talking. Talking isn't enough anymore. If it was, we would have won.